Well,
I take it the tape from reviewing the first half against Syracuse was a little different than the second half.
Well, a lot different. We much better ball movement in the second half, player movement. We did a better job of finding some open areas. Mitch knocked down some big shots, kind of got us going, and gave us some juice and gave us some energy going down the stretch.
What's it take to put two halves? I know that's a repeated question from earlier this year, but
we've got to just continue to do the things that give us a chance to be successful. In the second half, there was great ball movement. The assist numbers were up, and there was created more energy that's on both sides of the ball. And for us going into this game, it's got to be something very similar. Offensively, we have to move the ball, but defensively, we have to go back to the basics of being in the stance, having great awareness, being able to communicate and talk to one another.
It's kind of the mentality of the team right now. They still feel like they've got something to play for?
I believe so. I think every day we go out here and practice, the guys have good energy, and they compete and they challenge one another, and that's what you want to continue to see. And we've got to continue to have practices where we're competitive and we do some things that get the juices flowing, and we'll continue to do that.
Is it frustrating or gratifying to see how close this team is to kind of breaking through?
Frustrating. And that's just from my experience as a player and being on staffs, because we've talked about it before as a team and as a staff that there's some possessions that if we win those possessions, it could possibly be a different outcome to the games. Not guaranteed, but so we feel like we're getting there in terms of cutting down on the possessions that are don't go as well as planned, I guess, offensively and defensively. But we've got to continue to cut those numbers down.
As you're making your run in the second half, you hit like 5 threes in a row. Suddenly your team didn't fall in love with that shot, though, and still got the ball into the paint. Was that something that came from you guys on the bench, or were they able to adjust on the fly themselves and figure out what was more open for them?
A little bit of both. We talk about every game wanting more paint touches than our opponents, but you also know playing against Syracuse, you got to make some shots to bring them out even further in that zone, and we were able to do that, and we did a good job of not settling and getting the ball into that high post area. The short corner's tough against Syracuse because you know a trap's coming, and that length and athleticism leads to a lot of deflections. So we stayed away from that, but I thought we did a good job of getting the ball to the high post.
Was it important to get Mitchell came out and hit some big threes for you in that second half? Was it important for him to have a good game like that coming back?
It was always nice to see somebody come off an injury and have an impact like Mitch did, especially for him being a shooter and a guy that we depend on to make shots. Open some things up for us was a welcome sight.
To have the competitive practices you talked about, how they're still mentally still in it. Is it kind of now their time to figure out it's us against the world? We have 5 games left in this ACC tournament.
It's always us against the world. That's always your mindset, especially in our league. We don't care about anybody, and nobody cares about us. And so that's just your mindset. We've got to make sure that we take it one game at a time. We always talk about the next game is the most important, but we've got a chance to go into ACC tournament play on an uptick, and that's the goal.
Is the talent of this team better than what the record is?
I don't know how to answer that. Our record is what our record is. We're not happy with it, but we'll let you guys decide that.
Good.
Obviously, tomorrow's a special day with it being Valentine's Day. Let's assume that you're out of town, you don't have your wife to go out with, you're stuck going out to Valentine's Day with one of your ex-NBA teammates. Who are you eating with and where are you dining at?
You know what? There are a lot of friends that I had a lot of good meals with and a lot of good times. So I wouldn't feel bad in regards of having to go out to dinner with any of those guys. But there are quite a few friends. Ron Harper's one. Joe Wolf is one. Hubert Davis and I spent a lot of time together when we were playing. So there are a lot of guys out there that I could go out and have a very enjoyable meal. Although I would miss my significant other.